You might have heard of this already, but Alex Jones was removed from Twitter yesterday, completing his ban across mainstream social media. This was, of course, after his legendary trip to Capitol Hill, where he confronted Senator Marco Rubio, as well as a CNN reporter named Oliver Darcy. If you don't know about Oliver Darcy, we will get to him a little bit later in the video. Never mind that logo, by the way. This picture was just from last night's live stream, and I just had to insert it here. This clip here just about sums up the entire day.
I'm gonna beat you up. I'm Marco Rubio. Bros! Hey, Alex Jones, screw you!
What exactly did Alex Jones do to get him removed from Twitter? It's important to know what you are allowed to do in public and still exist on social media. The thing is, it's quite unclear. Alex was not holding back at all, but never once was he asked to leave, and never once did somebody he was talking to try to leave and he followed them. His behavior was very reminiscent of the behavior of journalists, actually. Here are some clips from Jim Acosta.
Mr. President, did he agree to denuclearize, sir?
We're starting that process very quickly. Very, very quickly. Absolutely.
Mr. President, 100% denuclearization.
Did you talk about auto-warm beer, sir?
Mr. President, what about the DACA kids? Should they worry about what's going to happen to them, sir?
The Democrats have really let them down. They've really let them down. They had this great opportunity. The Democrats have really let them down. It's a shame. And now people are taking advantage of DACA, and that's a shame. It should have.
Go ahead. Sure. No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization.
You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically,
she's asking a question. Don't
Mr.
be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not appropriate.
In the company platform, you have 26 companies working in concert violating the Sherman Antitrust Act, and now Senator Warner and Senator Wyden have said, quote, there's thousands of sites worse than Alex Jones. So we're becoming like Cuba, we're becoming like Vietnam, we're becoming like China. So regardless of what people think about me or the straw man, should I have a First Amendment, or should these companies be able to violate the whole Safe Harbor Act and all that, and then ban conservatives en masse?
Yeah, I don't know anything about your site.
No, but about the First Amendment.
Yeah, I support the First Amendment. I just ask questions about it.
I know, you were the only one that brought up China. Are you aware of the deplatforming going on?
In China?
No, here. Big tech companies are purging conservatives. They're shadow banning people in mass.
Yeah, well, my broader concern is that what we are trying to do in terms of preventing foreign interference in our elections.
Tens of billions of views.
InfoWars.
Better than Rush Limbaugh. He knows who InfoWars is. Playing this joke over here. That's why the deplatforming didn't work.
But here's the question. Here's a question.
Don't touch me again, man. I'm asking you not to touch me.
Well, sure, I just patted you nicely.
I know, but I don't want to be. I don't know.
You want me to get arrested?
I don't know who you are.
It's not just going to take my First Amendment. It's not just enough to take my First Amendment. Oh, he'll beat me up.
I didn't say that.
He didn't know I am, but he's so mad.
Yeah, man, I got to go to the committee. You guys can talk to this clown.
Oh, yeah. Look, he's a little frat boy. So cool. Go back to your bathhouse. Compromise at the bathhouses. There goes Rubio, a little punk. Anyways, you gotta love people that come from authoritarian regimes.
It turns out that this type of behavior is essential in gathering information at times. Just because somebody doesn't work for a mainstream news organization doesn't mean that they can't engage with public figures on public property. I must reiterate what I said earlier, which is that he was never asked to leave, and he never continued to talk to anybody after they walked away. Trying to keep things straight, Alex Jones was removed for, let's just call it extroverted journalism, that he engaged in while talking to public figures. That's strange because I happen to remember overzealous CNN employees using Twitter to coordinate the blackmail of a private citizen that made a GIF that made fun of their benefactors. Is this Twitter-approved behavior? Let's take it a step further. There's an organization that uses Twitter to communicate that is considered to be a domestic terrorist organization in the state of New Jersey. A group that is known for showing up at political speeches and instilling fear, or trying to rather, into their adversaries. It's Going Down, a site and Twitter account that organizes radical anarchist violence, has been removed by Patreon in the past for their behavior. However, after all of that, they are allowed to exist on Twitter, and Alex Jones is not. Why is it that so many people want Alex Jones gone? Is he really all that different than news media? Jared Holt, of Soros-funded Right Wing Watch, a guy who looks like the Hardy Boys from that episode of South Park, took credit for Jones getting removed from YouTube and Spotify and other places as well. In an interview with Salon, there was this little exchange. Why did you decide to target Spotify? Alex Jones is being distributed all over, as we've come to realize. I'm not sure it was really a calculated effort. I use Spotify to listen to music while I work. I noticed that they had a podcast section, so I was looking through that. When I found InfoWars, I was surprised, mostly because of my own experience as somebody who has a podcast. Aside from my work with Right Wing Watch, I experienced a personal struggle to get Spotify to list my own podcast. I guess I was a little bit offended that Alex Jones was able to get on the air and I wasn't. Let that sink in for just a minute. This wasn't about anything Alex Jones actually said or did. This was an act of jealousy. Jared was a little bit offended that Alex Jones was able to get on Spotify and he wasn't. Well, perhaps it has to do with the fact that he has a sizable audience and Jared Holt does not. When will be the next time that Jared will use his Soros bucks and resources to shut down people that were more successful than him out of spite? The clip that got Jones removed from Twitter involved him confronting a low-tier blogger LARPing as a journalist, somebody who will be forgotten entirely and only remembered every once in a while when somebody brings up Alex Jones. A journalist named Oliver Darcy. If you are unfamiliar with Oliver Darcy, he was very vocal about his call to have Alex Jones removed from all platforms on the internet. This is from a tweet of his from July 11th, 2018. Facebook is hosting an event about how committed they are to fighting fake news, but they have no good answer when I ask as to why they permit InfoWars to have a page on their platform. I got a better question. Why do they have CNN attending an event talking about fighting fake news? Seems counterintuitive if you were to ask me. So is that not enough to convince you? Well, here's an article he wrote for CNN a little less than a month later on August 9th, 2018. Twitter says InfoWars hasn't violated our rules. It looks like that's not the case. With that having been said, it's clear that Oliver Darcy of CNN was indeed trying to deplatform people he didn't like. He denies this when confronted, but you can see with your own eyes. Make no mistake what is happening here. A multi-billion-dollar news media corporation is using its influence to silence their competitors, something that is potentially criminal in certain circumstances. Now that we've briefly discussed Oliver Darcy's history with Alex Jones, let's take a look at that clip, or rather, some clips from the video that got Alex Jones banned. Oh yeah, and before I forget, Paul Joseph Watson, who originally posted this tweet, was also suspended for 12 hours, and he wasn't even there.
Look at this right here. The guy that goes around policing and calling for censorship and then claims that Trump's wrong, there's no censorship of conservatives or patriots. You are incredibly shameful, man.
How are you doing, Alex?
You're just, look at you, look, you are literally an anti-American, anti-free speech coward. You're going to go down the history books at the Criminal News Network. This is one of the main people right here who thinks you have no memory, who sits there and lobbies. Show him. That sits there and lobbies people to take other news off, claiming they're fake when CNN is the fakest WMD, Gulf Arab state dictatorship funded. Unbelievable. Hey, I mean, look at those eyes, folks. If you want to see the eyes of a rat, seriously, just I mean, look at the camera. Look at those eyes. Look at that slobbering to the system and the criminals at CNN, all their warmongering and death and all their fake news, and then running around trying to police the internet and try to shut people down. And then you think people are so stupid. On CNN a week later, you say no one's censoring anybody, no one's pushing for censoring, and then you say that Trump is the one attacking the press when all he does is stand up to your lies. Just look at this guy's eyes, man.
I really am trying to condense this clip as much as possible. It's a 10-minute clip, but there are just so many good parts. But this next part might be my favorite. Somebody off camera, a former colleague, apparently, of Oliver Darcy's, chimes in. He comes by to save the day. Or at least, that's what Oliver Darcy thought.
Alex, you know, I'd say, so I've known Oliver quite a long time. Good to see you again, Oliver. Good to see you, Chuck. Good to see you. You know, he's from Fresno, and he knows better. Because, you know, in Fresno, we actually believe in free speech. And here he is censoring people and doing...
Policing it. He's the thought police. That is the thought police.
Beforehand, he worked for Greenback. And of course, I and many other people in the conservative movement helped this guy's career along. But now he's decided that now that he works for CNN, he's going to go and try and shut down voices.
Look, I mean...
You hear that? A person that you were on first name basis with totally threw you under the bus, walked up to Alex Jones and says, "Hey Alex, it's nice to see you. Yeah, I used to work with this guy. He knows better." I bet he wasn't expecting that. I bet that really drove the point home, because I know, by looking at this man's eyes, he knows that Alex Jones is right, deep down. Even if he denies it when he looks in the mirror, he knows, he feels it in his heart of hearts, that Alex Jones was correct about everything he said.
I want you to know I'm starting to come up here a lot. We're going to be seeing a lot of each other.
That's good.
Just so you know.
Always good to see you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, no, you don't talk back to mere slaves. You just act calling everybody's sponsors to get them to dump you, working with Media Matters and the Nazi collaborator George Soros,
all right,
smiling like a possum that climbed out of the rear end of a dead cow.
You used that one several times.
That's what you look like.
You need to come up with something.
You look like a possum that got caught doing some really nasty stuff.
You're broadcasting on Twitter right now, I think, right?
We're going in a lot of places.
Right.
He was asking so that way he could run to Jack Dorsey and customer support. "Oh, I'm being bullied by this man who's asking me questions." Why didn't you just ask for him to leave you alone? Crazy, I know. I know, it's outlandish to ever assume that a person of such distinct quality, like Oliver Darcy, wouldn't think to just, "It's nice to see you, Alex. Please leave me alone. You're bothering me."
Because our viewers are down by half, it's not true. Record traffic and record support. Which you guys don't have. You have to be propped up by kingpins and corrupt corporations and foreign Gulf War dictators who launched fake wars in Arab Springs and backed ISIS and John McCain and all those other crypt keepers. And you and your boss, Glenn Beck, are charlatans, and everybody sees right through you. You're the definition of a fraud. You are a charlatan that goes around lying about people to destroy the First Amendment.
I haven't lied about anyone, Alex.
Yes, you are a congenital liar. And CNN is a giant fraud hated the world over.
All right.
We've got all your statements. We've got everything. We've got you all over the place, lobbying to have media taken down.
That's not true.
Lobbying to shut people down.
That's not true.
Asking people why they're not shut down.
That's not true.
Yes, and engaging in all that. It's all true. We have all the clips of you saying it.
Okay.
You get like 100 retweets because CNN's a joke. CNN's like government cheese. It literally is just force-fed to everyone everywhere. Everyone's sick of it. It's force-fed in public schools. It's force-fed in bars and hotels, making you sit there and watch it.
You came here to attack the media?
You're not the media. You are fake news. You are the criminal news network. You engage in racketeering trying to shut down real news, real information. You engage in lying and fraud in your audience on a premeditated, continual basis. You got some damn evil eyes, son.
Man, it looks like he is a little bit sad about everything that was said today. And I have to admit, even though Alex Jones is probably right about this guy not having any friends and being an empty soul and being the definition of dishonorable, you have to give the guy credit. I mean, he didn't completely break down into tears. It looked like he wanted to. Because deep down, he knew Alex Jones was right about everything he said. Well, that'll be it for this video. I know I repeated myself a few times, but I think it was necessary to drive the point home a little bit harder. So, it would only be fitting to end this episode with a short video of Verified by Twitter. Enjoy. Bye.